So next up on the show, we are trying to reach Mr. Forrest Griffin. No sign of Forrest? Oh, there he is. Oh, hey, Forrest, how are you?
Good. I didn't know it was on yet.
Man, the slackers behind the glass on my show, they don't even tell me you're on. So I'm killing time, and there you are just waiting for me. So I apologize for that. How are you?
I'm well.
It is so good to hear from you. It's been a while. Actually, I haven't seen or heard you do much since your win over Tito Ortiz. Did you just feel like you needed to take some time off from us dirty media?
What was I supposed to be doing?
I don't know. Some people like to, like to have their face out there, be visible, be at fights.
No, I do media when I have a fight coming up, and the UFC suggests strongly that I do it.
But here you are, 2.5 months away from your next fight, and you're on my show. What an honor that is once you preface it like that.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping we can get it out of the way so that I won't have to do it like December.
So this, meaning with me, or this is just your one interview that you're going to do for this fight, and that's it?
No, just with you. I'm just marking you off the list.
Oh, wow.
So, get that out of the way.
I kind of feel like this is the interview before the interview, if you know what I mean. This is just a catch-up. How you doing?
Oh, well, fair enough.
Well,
I'm good. I'm sitting in a hot car like a baby or a dog. Just sitting in a hot car off in front of the gym, about to go to work. Probably going to die in this car.
Well, I hope not.
Well, depending on how long this interview goes.
I saw that clip where Matt Serra visited you. He was doing those video blogs. Your car, man, what is going on there? And have you cleaned it up? It was rather disgusting.
All right. So we had some guests come and stay with us. And there's a teenage girl, like my wife's friend's daughter, actually cleaned it up because she was just so disgusted by it. She had to clean it up.
How long?
I was like begging her. I was like, "Don't bother, seriously, don't bother. What's the point of starting? It's not like, it's at some point. I'm just hoping Zion will give me a new car."
How long have you had that car for?
Since 2005, 2006.
Jeez.
Whenever I won the show, that's when I got.
The same car that you got off the Ultimate Fighter 1.
It works pretty good. I mean, it's pretty zippy. It gets decent gas mileage. And the thing is, you get to sit up straight in it. I hate cars where you have to lay down. And it's real small, so it still fits places, but you can kind of sit up in it. Like cars you have to lay down hurt my back.
And how often do you clean it? Other than when you have the 19-year-old girl come and do it.
Check it out. Here's how often I clean it. I leave town, and my wife, for whatever reason, will get stuck using my car, and she'll actually take it and have it cleaned.
Oh.
But I've never cleaned it ever, I don't think.
Wow. And you just had...
It's not really a source of pride. I realize I'm a pathetic human being. It's just the way it is.
So this fight with Chael Sonnen, interesting fight on many levels because you actually fought him and beat him back in 2003. We'll get to that in a second. But it wasn't a fight that was on many people's radars, perhaps because we didn't know if Chael would move up to 205, and he was talking some smack about some other people. Did it surprise you when they offered you this fight?
No, well, Chael asked for it, is my understanding. He asked for it. He asked, hey, and I think I was just the first one to pop up and say, sure, when? Well, I didn't even say sure. I said when. When and where? When,
Why? Because you liked it that much?
No, I just, I think it's stylistically a good matchup for me. Obviously the thing that's been getting me in trouble is guys that are quicker than me and, beat me to the punch was something I don't necessarily see coming, That's the problem I've had recently.
And so I guess for you when you say when, it's because, like, if this fight was taking place in, I don't know, Brazil it wouldn't make much sense, but the Las Vegas is the kicker for you, right?
No, it's done. Yeah.
No problem. Now, what do you remember from that fight in 2003? You beat him. It was actually a one-night tournament, if you recall, for a promotion called IFC. Do you remember anything about that fight?
Yeah, I remember everything about it. It's, it's so far in the past, it doesn't matter,
Okay, but what was it like?
Wrestling was the stuff like where people jumped off ropes. So that was my experience with wrestling. And they're like, he's a good wrestler. And I was like, well, is he going to, like, flying elbow me? Is he going to, do an atomic bomb drop or something? I didn't know.
You submitted him via triangle, which is kind of his kryptonite. Are you going to look for that again here?
Well, I mean, probably not.
No.
I think he's, I'm trying not be on the ground too much, try and get up, try and play different stuff, and I don't know. We'll see how I feel going into it. We're still a ways out, so
Right.
it's actually 12 weeks.
It's actually what?
12 weeks to the fight.
And when does training camp start?
Today.
Oh wow, today. What good timing.
It's excellent timing. Yeah.
He was flirting with a John Jones fight. We thought, he was going to get that fight. He's been talking about him. Were you worried that you weren't going to get this fight, that he was going to be moved elsewhere?
No, I wasn't. I mean, and he still might. He's I don't know. He's kind of just run around and say, "Hey, I want to fight you. I want to fight you. I want to fight you." I was like, "All right, sure." But if something comes up, I'll fight whoever on December 29th. And that's not true. I won't fight whoever. I actually in a laundry list of people I want to fight and people I don't want to fight. I'm not going to divulge who's on what list.
Oh, that was my next question. You knew what my next question would be.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, I mean, are you a fan of the Chael Sonnen persona? He has developed a persona. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Genius.
Do you think that he will try?
Well, he's a grinder. Nobody wants to fight him because he's a very tough fight. Fans don't, they're not blown away by him because a lot of them don't understand grappling or wrestling. They want to see a big knockout, whatever. So I appreciate his fighting style. But what he's done is basically create this character, which is, pretty much him personified. And now people want to see him. Now people are interested. So he sells the fight, even though, guys ain't lining up to fight Chael Sonnen. Even if you beat him, it's going to be a grind. It's going to, it's going to put his elbow in your face repeatedly. It's a tough fight.
Do you think he's going to try to get on your skin with, words and Twitter tactics and things like that? Are you and are you susceptible to that kind of attack?
No and yes.
So then it's good to know that he won't do it. Now, do you think he would have beaten John Jones if he would have gone in that fight? Like, do you think that highly of a skill set?
I don't know. It would have been a rough fight for Jones. The thing about Jones is he's got a great guillotine and great arms for it, and a good clinch. He's so tall with such long legs. You think Chael coming in, man, those knees are going to be flying at you. That guillotine is going to be there. So, Jones is a tough guy to shoot on. He's got good wrestling reaction speed. So, I don't know.
What was interesting about them announcing this fight and the timing of it, because just a couple of weeks earlier at a UFC on Fox 4 pre-fight press conference, Dana White told us, the reporters, this. He said, "I would like Forrest Griffin to retire. Nothing left for Forrest to prove either. He won the Ultimate Fighter. He won the title when people thought he couldn't. He became a huge star. He made expletive of money. He's got a beautiful wife. He's got a baby. If you don't want to be world champion and you're still in the mix, why?" And then they give you this fight.
Yeah.
Well, where did that come from?
I don't know. I mean, I understand what he's saying. A guy that talks like me. But, that's the problem with being a realist. People don't want that shit. They want you to say, "I'm the best ever. This is the best me ever." My wife summed it up for me. She said, "You ever heard one of them movie stars on the late night say, it's a pretty good movie? It's not the best movie out there right now, but it's pretty good." Nobody ever goes and says, "Hey, I'm a top 10 fighter." Well, maybe top 15. I can beat a lot of guys. Not necessarily those guys, but I can beat a lot of guys. Nobody ever says that. They always say they're the best. But that's the thing with, having a grasp on reality. I know I'm not the best. But I still really want to fight. I want to be on the Rich Franklin plan, which apparently means I'm going to have to travel around to exotic countries and fight with okay. But, I mean, if I want to keep fighting, I guess that's what I got to do.
So did you talk to him after he said that and reassure him that you're not interested in retiring anytime soon?
No, I mean, I just talked to him when he asked me about the Chael fight. It was the only time I've talked to him since.
Oh, really? And what did he say? Because at one point he's asking for you to retire, and then the next day he's offering you a huge fight against Chael Sonnen. Why did he change his mind?
How would I know? That's a question better suited for Mr. White, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, but I'm wondering if you asked him that question. Because he's coming out publicly and almost saying, I want you to retire, and then he's offering you a big fight. So I was wondering if you were like, hey, why the change of mind?
Well, I don't know. I took it as, my own personal, do you want to be a fucking fighter speech, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, you talk, you talk like you're old and you don't, But the thing is, I just love fighting. It's not like, I know I'm not the best, but I'm still pretty damn good. And there's a lot of people I can still beat. And, what do you do? Like, what am I supposed to go do? I have no other skills. I enjoy doing this. There's nothing I'd really rather do, They won't pay you to watch movies on Netflix all day, so I guess I should probably do this,
Have you thought about how many more years you want to do it for at least?
Yeah, I mean, it's not long, and that's another thing, too, saying you're not long for this sport is another thing people don't really want to hear.
Right.
But, I mean, realistically, your body's only got so much, It's not the numerical years, it's the time spent, beating up your body. How Nagara's still going, I have no idea.
Right, and the guy's not even close to 40. I think he's like 34 or something.
Yeah, he's my age, but he's had 1,000 tough fights,
Yeah, I know, it is amazing.
He's aging in reverse dog years, Like, man, those are fighter years. One thing, I watched that little, the original thing, a little documentary cool thing, and Dana White, due to the stress of his job, has also aged like a fighter.
Oh, yeah.
I look bad for 7 years, but he's right there with me, the stress, flying every day, fights falling out, stuff like that. It's taking a toll on him, too.
Yeah, and he has Meniere's disease. He has an ear problem. You're talking about the Forrest Griffin, The Ultimate Fighter documentary that aired on Fuel, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was really well done. I liked it. Did you like it?
I did, actually, considering we shot it in about no time at all,
Did you shoot that during the Ortiz fight week?
No, right after.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was very well done, and I highly recommend it. Just a couple more minutes with you, and we'll let you go, and we appreciate the time, Forrest, very, very much. Do you think you'll be one of those guys who will always have to stick around in MMA because, as you say, you don't really like or know how to do anything else? So do you think you'll have to be a coach, or maybe you'll come on the media side of things? That seems to be very in vogue these days. No? None of that?
Let's not get crazy. I wouldn't come on the media side of things. There's so many good fighters that, Rashad, Stefan, Chael, Stan, Florian, they're already doing a good job doing it. I'd never like to take the path that's already taken. That's not my own strategy.
Okay. So what do you think you'll do?
I could get a job working for the UFC. They do a lot of charitable stuff. I wouldn't mind, learning, what exactly they do and, being the guy that has to look for all the requests for stuff and decide, who gets what, It's a tough job, but I like doing stuff like that. I wouldn't mind dedicating the rest of this life to trying to help others. I've been very fortunate and, it's weird. I just would like to help some other people. I used to think, like, when you hear movie stars and famous people talk about, like, helping others and when they go to India and they do great stuff like that, I used to think that they were just kind of trying to buy public favor. Like, if they think I'm nice, they'll go pay $12 to my next movie, which is going to suck. But, there's a point where, like, if you're a decent person and you realize, like, your belly's full, you have what you need, your needs are met, you kind of look around and you say, man, I'm doing great, but not everybody around me isn't. I should probably do something about this, It's a long story. I actually, so I started praying a couple years back.
Okay.
And, this is going to sound crazy, but God answered me. And so I thought, well, I might be schizophrenic. I've always been a little off. So I prayed to my neighbor's dog, and he did not tell me to shoot people in parked cars. In fact, all he said was, like, squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. He just said that again and again. It was horrible. So anyway, God told me to do stuff. I asked him, like, tough questions, and he gave me answers, and I really hated the answers he gave me, or he or she, I don't know, the higher power, the imaginary head friend, whatever, because it was all like, why is this? And it was like, oh, there's enough food for everybody. We just don't distribute it equally, It's like, well, why do these people have to have diseases? Why do kids have diseases? And it's like, so you can help them. You're supposed to help them. That's why you're here. And so I quit praying right away. I was like, whoa, this guy wants me to help sick people and hungry people? I was just like, I was hoping for something different. Those are the answers he gave me.
And so you stopped praying right after that?
No, I'm kidding. I didn't.
Oh.
I didn't. I just now I just feel crappy. Now I'm at the point where I actually, most of my life I was kind of agnostic. Now I'm actually at the point where I do believe in, the something more and the higher power. And I still don't live my life accordingly.
What was the turning point? How does someone go from not believing there's a God to believing there's a God? Like, did something happen? Did you talk to someone? Something happened to you?
Oh man, who doesn't? Don't you want? Everybody wants there to be a God. You want bad people to suffer. You want people that are suffering to do well. Everybody wants that. You want there to be a God. It's just an innate need in us. Because we're the only sentient being ever to exist, we want to know why. We start thinking why, our own mortality. We're the only creature that ever realizes that they're going to die. For me, it was always a thing, and then it was a weird story. I was really kind of at the apex of my life, and I said, hey, God, don't you want me on your team? I got this sport. I'm champ. I got a wife or a girlfriend, a very good relationship. I'm stable, and I was trying to bargain, like, hey, pick me first. Don't you want me on your team? And I don't know. It started working out. And then right after that, everything went to shit. It was weird, like health, everything. My family, like my best friend died. Like crazy stuff started happening,
Wow.
And so, I prayed some more. And so why is this, I come over to the good side and then you throw all this stuff. And it's like, the answer he gave me was, I had you come over so you could deal with all this stuff, So I bought in, I'm still there. I'm just not very good. Like, it's tough when you know the answers, but they're really hard choices,
Yeah.
And they're not fun. It's not like stuff, it's okay, like, once a month I go to the boys' town and hang out. That's cool. But, he wants me to do it like 4 hours a day, every day, like make it the thrust of my life. That's not that fun,
How often do you actually speak to him?
Not that often.
Okay.
Not that often. Because, if I do it, he's going to give me answers that I probably don't want.
So when you say, just to be clear, when you say like join your team to God, you don't mean death, right?
No. I mean like, people that are religious and believe in something and people who don't. And I was like, kind of in the middle. I was like, well, who wants to pick me?
Do you go to church now?
I do actually, yeah.
Wow. How often?
You have a kid too, just once a week.
Okay. Has that helped you?
A kid, changes you.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was getting at. Do you feel like the timing of it is related to when you had your daughter?
No, it was actually a couple years before that.
Oh wow. But do you feel like a better person inside now? Do you feel like you have more meaning and that you're, I don't know, you're more on the right path, I should say?
Not really. Like, I feel like it's almost worse, to be honest. I feel like I see the path I should be on, but I'm too lazy and selfish to actually fully commit to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do get it.
I did, I came up years ago, I put it on Twitter, actually. I came up with a mission statement to find my happiness and helping others find their happiness in the name of God. That was kind of my life mission statement. And, I haven't really done that so much.
Do you think that the UFC should help guys, like they should have like a chaplain there or, someone there to talk to you before?
No, I don't. Not at all.
No.
Business is business. Your personal beliefs are personal. Let's keep them that way.
Right.
I'm not evangelical in any, if somebody asks me and they give me the opportunity, I would love to talk to them, share my experience, etc. But I'm not knocking on your door. You got to come to me. I don't. You got to want something. You got to want more. You got to want some sort of understanding. You're not gonna. I don't see the point of walking up to people and just trying to convert them. it's almost like a diet. You know, you have to want to do it. This person has to come to you. They have to hire a trainer or something. You know, you can't just go up and say, hey, do you want me to train you? And the guy's like, I don't really care to get in shape.
Do you ever feel conflicted given how you feel now and what you do for a living?
Not at all.
Okay.
I mean, come on, look at the way I fight. I'm a little too nice, probably. It's a sport, man. It's a sport. You know, it's not combat. I hate when people say, oh, it's a war. It's not a war. There's a referee. There's a very slim chance I'm going to die or even get seriously hurt, you know? My shoulder might get popped and I might not be able to fight anymore or wipe my ass with my right hand. But, you know, chances are I'm not going to die. You know, there's a ref that stop it. You go to a doctor right after. You know, it's pretty easy. It's not that big of a stressor for me anymore, to be honest. I mean, look at what happened when I fought Anderson Silva. It can't possibly get worse than that.
Right.
I mean, I've already seen the bottom, and it wasn't that bad. You know, I made it through. You know, I survived, or whatever. You know, so just fighting, man. It's not the end of the world. You know.
And that's a fantastic segue. Just two last quick things. You obviously a man you know very well, a very good friend of yours, is about to go into that same challenge in just a couple of weeks in a tougher spot because he's going to Brazil. Stephan Bonner to fight Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
Have you talked to him about that experience?
Yeah. I said, whatever you do, don't take Valium all during the week to sleep. Because not only will you fail your drug test, but you won't be super sharp in there either.
Okay.
So no Valium or Xanax or whatever it was.
Did you do that?
Use that as a sleep.
You didn't do that before your fight, right?
I actually failed my drug test, I think, for Xanax, which I had a doctor prescription. I didn't do it before the fight. No, I did it the night before because I was nervous and I couldn't sleep.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't think anyone knows that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, what's the point?
Right.
Why add more humiliation to a bad situation?
So did you talk to him about the things you might have done differently and based on the fact that he doesn't none of that?
No, I think he'll be all right. He's got good people around him.
Do you think he has a shot? Because he is the biggest underdog in the history of UFC main events, 14-1.
I do think he's got a shot, actually. I was thinking about going and put a little money on him.
Wow.
Just, you know, for shits and giggles. But here's the thing. Stephan's got better wrestling on top game than you realize. And I don't think Anderson's going to really want to commit to his punches, you know? I don't think he's going to really want to step in and let stuff go because he's not going to want, you know, to close the distance too much on Stephan, I don't think.
So you actually think he has a shot?
Great, yeah.
And he does. He's never been stopped or finished. Yeah, I mean, submitted or knocked out.
The only time he's ever been hurt is when Jones hit him in the back of the head with that spinning elbow, which he just really didn't see coming.
Right. Will you watch the fight?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And you're not going to go there, right? That would be quite the moment. Like if you're in his corner or something, you know, it just seems like you guys are so linked to each other, and now here he is fighting.
Yeah, that would be horrible, though. Yeah, you don't want I still have the smell of Anderson's urine on me. I don't want to go selling up his corner. That's crazy talk.
At least you can look back at it that way. And finally, I was just wondering, you know, based on how Dana responded and Tito responded, do you regret how you reacted to your fight before knowing that you won at UFC 148?
Oh, yeah, certainly I do. Of course. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How quickly did you regret it?
Well, when everyone told me in the back, like, what are you doing? Like, so as soon as I got back to the locker room.
Okay.
At the time, I thought it was pretty amusing. I thought it was pretty funny.
But once everyone told you, then you realized that it not only walking back, but taking the mic and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, all that was just nonsense.
But he hasn't been too kind after. He seems to think that he won the fight. Have you even watched it?
You know, I haven't watched it.
Probably for the best.
Doesn't matter.
Well, Forrest, I appreciate the time. We've taken up too much of your time. Thank you so much. It's great to hear from you, and I hope you will reconsider, taking me off the list for pre-UFC 155, because I always do enjoy, even though you think I've changed, which I've actually taken that to heart and tried to go back to my old ways. I don't know if you've noticed it or not.
Very good of you. Very good of you. I appreciate that. Here's the thing. I don't think Dana's going to make me do an interview with you, so this is probably the last time we're ever going to speak ever. Well, I appreciate it. Take care. I'll talk to you later, bud.
All right, there he is, Forrest Griffin, joining us on the MMA Hour. Some interesting stuff there about religion and where he is in his career right now. Very interesting stuff from Mr. Forrest Griffin.